The first thing I'm gonna do is log into the ILO, and that's one of the key reasons why I will still keep the Gen 8 and not upgrade to the Gen 10. Let's see, check the temperatures, and I'll check the power consumption using an external meter. So to begin with the temperature, I think it's diagnostics. No. Overview, no. System information, no. Oh yes, temperatures. So the graph here shows the situation of the server now, and I have a really low power 1220L Xeon, and it runs, if I'm not mistaken, it's 15 or 20 watts, and that's 15 watts less than the rating of the heatsink that is installed. It's up to 35 watts. So, and then the quad core processor goes up to 45 watts, so I'm going to disable turbo boost, and I don't think I'm going to disable any cores because there is no point, but the chassis fan should be able to keep it cool, right? And I've read many reports on the internet confirming the same. So here, let's see. The inlet ambient temperature is 22 degrees. That's the temperature I keep my flat at during winter. It's living at 42 degrees. And the CPU is running at very cool 40 degrees. The server is up 4 days, running the cloud, my NAS, so the load's not very high, maybe 5 users on the cloud, plus the eventual reading media, you know, videos and so on from the NAS, but I don't know any live transcode or anything like that. So I believe the quad core processor are going to help with multitasking, and since I don't intend to run anything CPU demanding, I prefer to have more cores. And also, that should be the last upgrade I do to this microserver before I replace it, right? Before I feel that I'm going beyond what it can do. So the Xeon E3-1220L at 2.2 GHz. I'm not sure if it is generation 1 or 2, but in any case they stay under the thermal rating of the heatsink. 2 cores, 4 threads, and this machine has 16 gigs of ECC RAM, and it's already maxed out. It's not HP memory, but it is working fine. My N56L has HP smart memory, but I really don't know what it does, right? It should be working or not. Well, enough of ILO. I'm going to sign out, and let's check the power consumption of the box. So enough of talking, let's get to upgrading the server. 2 things I would like to consider and recall. First of all, the processor we're going to install goes beyond the TDP of the heatsink, but we're going to do adjustments for that. And the second thing is, in my previous video, there were a lot of people complaining that you should not really turn on the computer without a heatsink. That is true. However, from what I remember from high school physics, there is no way you can fry a 15-20 watt processor in like 1 minute or 2, even maybe if under heavy load, but not otherwise. But I understand that people have different opinions, and from now on we're going to be taking the safest approach, and that is, since I'm going to upgrade only one server, I'm going to apply the thermal paste, install the heatsink, and test it afterwards. And if it's working, the server goes back to production. Then we are going to compare the thermals after 1 or 2 hours that is running, and do some BIOS changes to disable turbo boost, for example, so it stays really on the stock clock frequency. I don't remember which one it is, but I'm going to put it down in the video. To begin with, we just unscrew the case screws so we can reach the motherboard and disconnect the cables. Then we pull it back and lift it. My microserver has the 4 hard drives installed, so this has to be taken in consideration when you work on the power consumption. Yeah? So the 40 watts I had in idle are with the dual core Xeon and 4 disks, 4 2TB disks and 16 gigs of RAM. And an extra PCI network card. And now let's remove the cables so we can slide the motherboard out. Power goes first. Then goes the sensor cable. Then goes the hard drive cage cable. And I think that's it. No, that's not it. When we turn around, we have the fan cable here. Now we can slide the motherboard out. Be careful with the cable so you don't break any of them. And I was forgetting a cable. So again, here, front panel I/O cable. All right, now I can finish sliding it out. I'll clean a bit of this dust and then resume recording. The required screwdriver is included by HP in the box, just on the front part. One of the easiest ways to get yourself into passionate discussion on how to do things is when you discuss, how to install, remove processors, how much and how to install the thermal paste and so on, right? Again, feel free to disagree, but what I do here is do the opposite screws and do 1 or 2 turns per time to not have to not have uneven pressure applied on the processor. So I'm going to start with this corner, I'm going to do 1 or 2 turns, and then I'm going to move to this corner, do 1 or 2 turns, this, and then go this way. I'm gonna assume the processor got stuck to the heatsink, so I will leave it very, very carefully to not drop anything off. Okay, the processor is not stuck to the heatsink. There's a bit of thermal paste mess near here, but not too bad. Let's remove it. Alright, you can move the motherboard aside now, and I'm gonna unbox the Xeon. So here we have a Xeon E3-1260L 2.4 GHz. Seems to have been cleaned properly, and the seller said they would clean the processor, so I can proceed to just installing it directly. Alright, the new processor is in. We can apply the thermal paste. I'm using the Arctic MX4. Again, I don't know if it's the best or the worst, but it should do the job. Alright, last minute change here. I decided that I will go with what I used previously, and that was just a bit of paste in the center. So let's just apply it, and now the heatsink. So now we slide the motherboard back in, minding the cables, and connect everything back in. It should slide in easily once the cables are properly seated. And then you can replace the case cover. Alright, I'm ready to turn it on, and if it's successful, I'm just gonna monitor the temperatures for a day. I'm not expecting the fans to go any higher, and let's see. I can see here on my phone that it is starting up fine. The ILO is booting up. I've just decided to record my phone screen, so hey, should be better. Voila, the ILO is up, so now it's running post. And I can see here Xeon E3-1260L with 4 cores enabled. So now I'm going to go into the setup and let's make sure that we disable Turbo Boost and have a look on the temperature soon. Okay, I'm gonna try to use this with the phone. Let's see. I go to, let's see if it's power management options. Let's see advanced options. I don't really know where it is, so minimum processor idle, maximum memory bus speed. Probably not it. So let's go back. Let's see advanced options, system options first. Processor options, let's try that. Alright, let's see. No execute memory protection is enabled, that's good. Virtualization technology enabled, good. Hyperthreading enabled, good. Processor core disabled. Okay, I want 4 cores, so that's good. I don't want to change this. Turbo Boost technology I'm going to disable, so it stays on 2.4 GHz and I don't run into the risk of overheating this. VTD enabled, so that's good. Now I can, where do I save the options? How do I save the changes? That's pretty stupid. Let's assume it's saved, so I'm gonna exit, press F10, it's gonna reboot, and then I will go into the setup again and confirm whether or not the settings have changed. Back into the setup. Let's system options, processor options, Intel Turbo Boost technology disabled. Excellent. We can proceed with on the normal boot. The fan has slowed down, and it seems that FreeNAS is up, so we are good with this. And let's have a look on the power consumption now. We are at 63 watts now. Let's wait until the system fully posts, because after the OS is loaded, the temperature should go down. So the system has posted, and my power meter is showing me 44 watts, which means I gain, like the server is using 4 watts more, meaning that I should stay within the thermal parameters of the heatsink, and I have a full server down, and that server used to take more than 30 watts, and I gain 2 extra cores, and I have 1 less server to manage, so far we are game, right? I'm going to the ILO to quickly have a look on the temperatures, but it may be better if I do it from the computer, but let's try. Alright, temperatures. Here's the CPU. Shows me 40 degrees, but it has just powered on, right? So it's pretty good. Exhaust temperature 42, system still cold. Chipset read 48. Inlet ambient temperature is 22. Beautiful.